Warning: the following broadcast features thoughts, ideas, and opinions you might find offensive. If you're easily angered, insulted, hurt, provoked, outraged, or annoyed, the following may offend you. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of YouTube or Google. So please, don't flag this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello!
Hi!
Hi, welcome friends. Hi.
I forgot how much I love that intro.
Yeah, I know, it's really good. I wonder if we should update it. Not that I like everything in there, but I don't know. We've been doing this for how many years now? It's been, this is episode 42. Let us know if you want any addition.
42.
Maybe just put some glitches in there. Just catch everyone off guard. I don't know. Oh, how is everyone? It feels like it's been so long since we've done this, and I can't believe we skipped 1 month. Feels like it's like 6 months later we're back.
Literally all it was just a month, but yeah.
I know, it's crazy. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Does This Offend You? If you haven't been here before, my name's Emma. This is Vicky. This is Vicky. And today we're going to be talking about the Omen and Case 39, which I wish we kind of called this Damien versus Lilith, but yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
The films are very similar in very strange ways, which we did not anticipate. We thought we'd do another creepy kid episode. We've done one in the past. I can't remember what kids. I think we did probably The Orphan would have been one. Yes, we've done one in the past. Creepy kids are a good go-to, I think, and also really good for offensive material. If you haven't been to one of these before, the title is Does This Offend You? Where we pick apart little of things that we reach. It's all about reaching and just reaching for the fun of it as well. We're hardly ever offended, but we do it because it's fun to pick apart those little parts that sometimes in horror movies, especially like outdated horror movies or, anything, that you just watch and you kind of just, take in your stride and you, as the movie goes along. But in this instance, we take that, we write them down, and we pick them apart and do a little bit of reaching because that's fun. It's fun to reach sometimes. So we should really rename this. Reaching.
Reaching.
So yes, it's not really about being offended. If you have not, God, I keep pointing the wrong way. If you don't know Vicky has a channel, Nightmare Maven. All of her links are down below. Hopefully I've done that right. I believe I have. Yes, so make sure you follow her and catch up with her. She's one of my favorite channels. And yeah, my co-host for this show. So we alternate as well. If you're new again, we alternate. So 1 month will be on my channel, 1 month will be on Vicky's channel. So definitely subscribe if you want to keep updated with the show. And thank you, DC Carter, for your God, what channel are we on?
Blood Sacrifice.
I was like, man, it's been so long since I've done a live. Thank you so much, DC Carter. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just so people know, if you don't know, it's Nightmare Fuel on Vicky's channel. It's Blood Sacrifice here, but I sometimes get confused where I am, so it's a fun game for everybody. Okay. I think so spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about everything that happens in this film. I feel like it's kind of a spoiler that there's a creepy kid in Case 39 anyway. Because it's kind of like a twist, I guess. But yes. So thank you so much, Liam, for another super chat. Thank you for your blood sacrifice. Had me for a minute. Just saying, hey, I'm at work and totally not watch podcast. Great stream. You're not working? You're not watching. I think that's what he meant. Love that movie. Okay. Thanks, Liam. Hope you have a good shift.
Have a good day, work, Liam.
If you're working. Okay. What do we want to start with today? Do you have any preference, Vicky?
I mean, I kind of lean toward the Omen because I feel like that's kind of like the pinnacle creepy kid movie, but we can always leave it up to the chat also. Drop a kid for the Omen and a kid for case 39.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how are you going to do that? And I don't really want to do gender, like, you know what I mean? Like a bow for Lilith.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're both kind of demonic as well, so we can't really use the demon. I'm not sure what this person meant. Did you see that? Your horror bestie, which I love your name. Spoiler alert for this Bridget Jones sequel.
Bridget Jones sequel.
Not really sure what you mean, but I do love my Bridget Jones. Huh? Do you understand what
I don't think I've seen a Bridget Jones.
Oh, because of
I know,
because of
Zellweger is Bridget
I didn't even
Jones.
think about that.
Yeah.
She's so different in this movie, you know what I mean? That reminds me, I need to put that on my to watch list for Christmas. Case 39. Okay, Des has just come in with the 666. Love that. Check your kids for birthmarks, by the way. I'm just gonna put that out there. But we'll get to that. Let's just start with the Omen, since that's your preference. And I feel like it's gonna be too hard to determine which demon is which in the chat. So let's start with the Omen.
Yeah. Agree. That's
Again,
like
spoiler alert, if you've not seen the Omen, obviously we're talking about the original Omen as well today. I need to rewatch the remake, to be honest. I don't think I've seen that as many times as the original.
I'm struggling to even think of who's in it, so.
A child.
All right, so a child. Yeah, we know that much.
They're all the same to me.
Just a really... a really quick recap of the Omen for whatever, if you need it. So the movie starts with a U.S. ambassador to Great Britain, Robert Thorne, who is receiving news that his wife has delivered a stillborn child. Robert is approached by a priest at a hospital who suggests that they take a healthy newborn whose mother has just died in childbirth. Without telling his wife, he agrees. After relocating to London, strange events and the ominous warnings of a priest lead him to believe that the child he took from that Italian hospital is evil incarnate.
Who knew? When a priest convinces you to lie to your wife, who knew it could be a bad idea?
Bad things will happen, people. Bad things will happen.
That's the actual Omen. The Omen is a priest trying to convince you to lie to your wife. That's the Omen.
That's like the most convincing, though, because you're like, well, man, if you're telling me to do it, it's got to be okay, right? Because
it's just so bad, so bad. That from the start, major red flags, obviously. Red flags. Where do we start with this? I mean, that's like my first note on this film I wrote down was corruption in the church, a movie that opens with them convincing Robert not to tell his wife that their baby has died and do the old switcheroo. How is that honest? I mean, that's like a very weird note to start on. It's a very strange start to the film because you don't really see the obviously you don't see the death of the newborn, but like you would want to, but you don't really see it kind of happen with the mum in the same situation. I don't know what I mean. Like, I feel like if this was maybe in the remake, if it was remade now, you would see, you know, the childbirth or, you know, something along that lines, and then it would explain it a little bit better. But you kind of just open with it opens with him in the taxi, doesn't it, on the way? And,
he's literally on the way, and he right when it opens, he's being told that the child didn't make it or something, and then he shows up, and then the priest is just like right there, like, hey.
Giving the option. And it's very obviously there's going to be a lot of this, but obviously giving the man the option to lie to his wife about her baby. I mean, their baby, of course, but like, you know, just none the wiser. Ignorance is bliss, but maybe not when it's a demon. So.
Or concerning anything that's coming out of your own body.
Yes, exactly. Which, I mean, swift change, but since we're already talking about reproductive sitch, should we let's get straight into the abortion? Shall we get straight into
Let's do it.
Sorry, guys. Trigger warning. Sorry, I should have said this at the start. Trigger warning for this whole episode about children harmed, conspiring to kill your kids. This one more so church, and we're going to talk about abortion right now. So in this movie, Damien ends up scarring the mother so bad that she finds out she's pregnant and she wants to get an abortion. And then the husband refuses. Obviously, the husband has different information because the husband knows that this baby is her biological baby. And I mean, this is a whole different subject, and we'll get into adoption because it does really, I don't like how it kind of muddies the water with adoption and the difference between a biological child and, you know, a child that is raised by you. And the thing that I actually don't like is that the doctor, I mean, maybe it's fine, but the doctor, her doctor asks why he refuses an abortion and wants to know the reasons. Obviously, maybe because of like mental health, and maybe that's like fine, but I always find it weird when people ask reasons that have nothing to do with the sitch. Obviously, I don't know. It's a little bit hard in this one because obviously her body, her choice. I'm sure we're very much on the same line there, Vicky. I don't think we're ever going to disagree on that. But I also do believe in this circumstance, they have different information. You know what I mean? She has different information to him. So, yeah. What do you think about that? Sorry, putting you in the hot seat there. Tell us your thoughts.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, right off the bat, though, the fact that because she like broaches that subject with him, like she like says that's what she wants, and then that the doctor also wants to talk to him, so of course that's what he wants to talk about. So instantly I'm like, ugh, that, you know, we have to involve the husband in this, you know, because he's gonna be equally as involved in the abortion process. um I guess the doctor asking the reason, though, maybe, this is reaching. We're reading way too much into the movie, but maybe he notices that she's maybe not okay mentally, and that's why he asks, I suppose. Um and I guess it's a interesting question to ask that he's asking the husband, though, because I would have been more off put if he asked like her why she wanted an
Yeah,
abortion
that's true.
versus asking like, hey, why, if she wants this, why are you saying no?
Yeah, no, totally agree. Yeah, it's just an interesting approach. I liked this comment from Billy, which, hi Bill. Do not name your kid Damien. I actually thought, like, if I did ever have a son, I might name him Damien. Just don't tell Dean. Dean might be none the wiser. I love that.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, who doesn't know?
I feel like you had something else that kind of ties into what we're talking about now, but I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Oh yes, the family values, because I think that's kind of, that might be appropriate to go on with this, because obviously this film is a lot to do with the church. You know, it starts there, and poor Damien, he just really doesn't want to go to church on a Sunday. You know, he's just screaming. He just doesn't want to go to church. So yeah.
I mean, aside from the like beating up my mom, I can kind of agree with not wanting to go to church. So there's that. There's something me and David can agree
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Never punched my mom in the face over it, though. So at the time of the Omen's release, there was not concern involving the movie specifically, but I just mean like a concern like in society, that the breakdown of like the family was deeply tied to perceptions of like a loss of religion. Like speaking about the United States specifically, it's the only one I can speak to. But specifically, Christianity, of course. So conservative Christians believed that the utmost importance of like the heterosexual nuclear family, which parents could pass on their Christian values to their children. So the
Did
rise
you not
of
know?
feminism.
Sorry, Vicky. Did you not know that gay people
Yeah.
didn't exist then?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely didn't.
Great. We're on the same page.
Absolutely didn't.
Yeah. What do you mean?
So the rise of feminism, during this time, and youth movements of the 60s and 70s was seen as like destroying the nation's family values, like, and morality, which I find interesting because in this movie, the mother is the most targeted in the film. Like the dad kind of it has more of like a, outsiders looking in perspective. Like
Mm,
he's the one going around doing all the investigating. He has the inside knowledge, and the mom is the one being targeted. She senses that something
mm.
is wrong with Damien. She starts to regret having a child, like saying she doesn't want any more when they're having that conversation when she's pregnant, and expressing she wants an abortion when she finds out she's pregnant, which is not very family values of her.
Mm. You know what? It's like it's not very family values for like a man to lie to his wife about that being his child. You
100%.
know, we I guess we, different we hold to different standards around here, I guess.
Man
Um
of the house, different rules.
yeah, different rules going on. Yeah, yeah. I definitely feel that coming through, but I mean anything that starts with a church and it's almost like that red flag thing. Like you could feel that coming for sure. Anything that starts with a
Yeah.
church is definitely going to lean into that kind of values and yeah. So I guess that kind of goes into what we were touching on before. I do talk about this, I believe, more with. I'm trying to find the note. I think I talked about it more with case 39, which we will get to, but like a common thread between the Omen and case 39 is that they both talk about children being adopted. And again, this could be against family values in a way because it's not your like 2.5 kids that are passing on your genetics. But it's definitely a connotation for not having children of your own. And also having fostered or adopted children being violent, damaged and violent. And I say that with these, obviously.
Right.
And yeah, so we see this more as well with case 39, but the Omen is a really good example because the Omen is in case 39, as we'll talk about, we do see the biological parents, but in this one, he's just, this child that's like detached from anybody. So, unfortunately, that means that he is the devil, just to put it, which is very interesting because I do have, and I'll just go into my rant about Damien is actually, the innocent of the story, but, hear me out. Damien actually doesn't do anything bad in this movie. I don't know if anyone caught up with the fact, but Damien is actually completely fucking innocent here. It's actually bizarre. So Damien, sure, he is annoying. There's like a scene where he's like running around, I think it's like a pool table, and he's like being annoying, and she's like, get him out of here. Get him out of here. But I mean, what mother at one point wouldn't have said that about every single person here? Yeah, kids can be annoying, you know what I mean? Even when he has the tricycle incident where he like knocks the mum off, he is being wound up by the nanny, who the nanny is really the evil. That she's comes in and she's almost there to mold him. It makes it seem obvious. We'll get to it, but obviously nothing is in concrete, but that's what we get the feels from her, is that she gets in there and she's sent by someone to really, stir up the pot and get, the apocalypse started, really. So she's like looking at him, and he's gone around that track, and then she opens the door and lets him go out to knock over the mum. It's almost like she commanded him or just like wound him up to do it. Also, the mum is on she's watering a plant, standing on a stair while her kid is riding around a bike. Like, Lord have mercy, woman. Death wish. I just can't even imagine. Maybe don't hang plants from your second story, but just me.
Yeah, I never would have done that. I don't like. No.
Such a weird placement for a plant as well. Anyway, so Damien is given to the family by the church, not his choice. He has no choice. He's just there trying to be raised. He's just trying to grow, as we did talk about, like I've just gone through that. And also, poor Damien, could you imagine waking up in the middle of the night, having your dad cut your hair and then throw you into the backseat of the car and take you to a church? Like, trauma. But imagine waking up and having a parent cut your hair, trying to find your 666 birthmark. So in saying all of this, oh yeah, and he tries to stab him. in the church, 3 a.m.
Of course,
stabbing,
yeah,
anyone up for a 3 a.m. stabbing, and then you tell me that the kid's doing something wrong. So just to prove this point, the director actually requested for the screenwriter to write the film in a way that it took away anything supernatural from the story. So they crossed out the hoofed demons and the witch coven, and the golden rule of this story is really that is nothing that is allowed in the script that couldn't happen in real life, and the idea is that there is a degree of doubt whether the dad is deranged, which is their wording, but so. And when you're watching it, you realize that Damien's not doing anything wrong. He's just being a kid, and circumstances happen. People get decapitated every day, but he wasn't anywhere near that photographer. And the nanny, that's brutal. But again, Damien didn't do anything. I rest my case. Damien is innocent.
Yeah, I added it in there in the chat. I think technically the dog tells her to do it because she stares at the dog, and the dog's like staring into her soul, and then she goes and does that. So,
exactly.
Justice for Damien.
Someone just said, but he doesn't stab him, so is he really a bad dad? You are right. Just a little play at 3 a.m. So, yeah, I just think that's. Damien didn't actually do anything bad. It could all be coincidence in the head. As we're talking about the dog, just because you brought that up, I do want to say that I as a person who, we're both obviously dog lovers. I love huge dogs. I'm a big fan of Rottweilers or Rottweilers, depending on where you live, what you say. I had one called Hank, who was like the most adorable dog ever. I feel like this film gives the big dogs that illusion of being demonic, especially like Dobermans. Usually they use in these kinds of movies, but you got your Cujo, you got your big dogs that have these bad connotations. Very interesting because it's said that the biggest problem shooting with the dog that they used in this film was that he actually didn't have any of the characteristics that he needed, and every time they went to shoot, the dog just wanted to play and lick the co-stars instead of looking menacing, which is so cute. And it said that also the popularity of the breed increased after this film. So if anything, really cool to know that this film did good for big dogs. And then I also just wanted to add, because we always hear about bad stories about how animals are treated on set, I wanted to add some good news in here. I know that where does this offend you, but we've got to get some good vibes every now and then.
Some wholesomeness too.
Yeah, this is really wholesome. So there's a fishbowl scene where fishbowl drops, smashes, and there's dead goldfish. What they actually did is they painted sardines orange and put it in. Sorry, I'm gonna cough. Put it in the. Oh my god. One sec.
She's all good.
Sorry. The mic's right there. Put it in the fishbowl, and then it's meant to look like goldfish. So I thought that was cool. Instead of they didn't want to kill goldfish for the sake of a film.
Yay.
I love that.
Go them. Such a nice movie set for being about a demon child.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Scott, for your blood sacrifice. Can we just agree that kids in general are evil?
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Agreed. Sorry, I'm coughing right tonight. Oh, God.
That's just what the movie wants you to think. Don't give in.
All right.
I agree anyway.
What else you got on Omen?
I can talk about the movie set since you're kind of talking about behind the scenes stuff anyway. This is one of those movies which, I have my feelings on these sort of things, and I don't know if you have a specific opinion on like the cursed movie sets or whatever. But of course, The Omen, as most horror movies that involve the devil or Christianity or Satanism or anything like that, always tend to be the cursed ones. So this one's no different. There's like a slew of instances that people have attributed to this movie being cursed. There's a couple lightning incidences with Gregory Peck was like flying to London and his plane was struck by lightning. And two of the film's producers also had close calls with lightning while filming. Other accidents, there's a special effects artist who was responsible for creating that decapitation scene that Emma mentioned, was in a head-on collision, and though the artist survived, his assistant was decapitated.
That's crazy.
Kind of.
When did that
Yeah.
happen? Do you know how long? Like how close to the filming? It wasn't in the
I
film, was it?
don't. No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know how close. That's the thing with like these. Get to it in a second.
Yeah,
But
okay,
that's the
cool.
thing with these.
Sorry.
I feel like no, you're good. You're good. Just other. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There was one of the animal trainers who worked on the baboon scene was mauled by a tiger the day after the sequence had been completed. A plane that was meant to be used for filming was switched out at the last minute and later crashed and killed all the passengers on board. A lot of these, the only one I could really find was the animal trainer and one of the lightning ones are like the only ones that really specifically mention like when they happened.
Mhm.
So I don't know how closely these are all related. I feel like if anything bad happens to anybody that like isn't within like 6 degrees of a satanic movie, they like say that the movie is cursed. Like
Yeah. Coincidence, I guess.
just for publicity, like, ooh, scary Satan, everybody's dying around this movie. Go see it. Like
Cool. Yeah. Well, I don't really have an opinion on the cursed set, but I do think it's interesting. Maybe it's because a lot of people work on it and the chances that people, you know what I mean? Like there's hundreds of people working
Right.
on a film. Maybe there's like a good
Yeah.
chance.
Absolutely. Yeah. Way more chances for people to get in accidents. Absolutely.
I have a breakdown of all the brutal moments that we haven't really run through.
Yeah.
If we just want to do a little recap of the brutal moments in the film, we got obviously the nanny scene, which is always the one that I remember because it's just the most intense, iconic, something that you always take away from the film. We got the priest who's staked. We got Damien with the trike, which he did nothing wrong. He just, riding his trike. Don't make the kid ride the trike upstairs in the house. So many different things.
Yeah, seriously.
The mum dies from the old woman throwing out the window. That's a pretty hardcore scene. Again, Damien's nowhere to be found because it's not Damien. It's the the nanny. Oh, yeah, I forgot I put this in there. I'll get to it at the end. Decapitation of the photographer, and then obviously him trying to kill his son. But I think the most brutal part of this film is that the fucking priest won't just spit out his story. I don't know if you felt this, Vicky, but so, for everyone who's seen and remembers the Omen, when the priest tries to approach the dad at this, once, Damien's a little bit older, to try and tell him and warn him about what's going to happen. He won't spit it out, though. He comes to his office and he's just like, I just got to tell you, just got to listen to my story. And he proceeds to say nothing and wait for security to kick him out. They then meet up again and he proceeds to say, you need to just listen to what I have to say. Hell's coming. And proceeds to say nothing. Like, how, like, if this was happening and it was a dire fucking situation, would you not be like, hi, sir, just so you know, child evil, 666, find the birthmark, that will prove it. People around you are going to start to die and you'll see. That's all you have to say. And then, did that not kill you, Vicky? Did it not kill you? Or was it just me?
No, it definitely did. And then when he actually does go to meet up with him, he like is spitting out all that like gibberish first too, and it's like, get to the point.
I know, just say it. Just say what it is. Maybe he should write down his notes before he sees him, just so he doesn't forget anything. Pass him a letter. Send him an email.
Yeah.
I know maybe not back then, but telegraph, whatever it takes. Just get your words out. Don't go all that way just to say absolute. I just can't believe he says nothing. He actually says nothing in that office that first time. It's ridiculous. That's not how. Yeah, that's not how it rolls.
He just starts to preach at him, and it's like instant. Okay, get him out of here.
Yeah, I know. Like, Jesus, yeah. I love this, your horror bestie. The priest seemed to love stirring the pot.
Yeah. I mean,
A little shit stirrer.
it would be kind of fun though.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, the priest is, because like when you think about the whole thing, is like he gave Damien, and like it all starts and ends with the church, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. They just had to insert him in there. That's why they had to stick him in so many scenes where he doesn't say anything.
Yeah. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre to me. But there is, interesting enough, for both of these films, they're so similar when you think about it. Because in this film, you've written down the alternate ending. So do you want to tell us a bit about that, Vicky?
Yeah, it's a nice kind of little segue because they mirror each other really interestingly. So I'm sure we'll talk about it with Case 39 in a little bit too, that alternate ending. But according to the director's commentary for The Omen, in the initial cut, Damien was supposed to have died. And his casket would have been shown like alongside the parents' coffins at the end. But after a screening to studio execs, they asked if there was a way to change the scene so that Damien would live at the end, which is interesting because, as you'll see in a little bit, it's kind of an opposite situation for Case 39. I just thought that really interesting.
It is so interesting.
Yeah, and then they added in the just like him looking at the camera, and I think I saw a story somewhere too where like the director was like, like, don't you smile at me, don't you smile, and he turns and smiles at the camera, which is like, besides the nanny scene, It's All For You is probably like one of the most iconic shots.
Yeah, the shot of him smiling, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really like the ending with him living because he didn't do anything wrong. But I just like the menacing feel to it. It's very interesting. I wonder because, I mean, as we keep saying, we'll get to it with the Case 39, but I wonder if this worked better that he lived because of when the film came out. Maybe they couldn't deal with a child's death, like, because it would have been brutal as well if there was stabbing. It would
have just been so much, yeah.
Or however he died, I don't know if there was going to be a different way because, but the cast, like, if seeing a child's casket is a lot. Just that imagery alone is pretty pretty dark. Yeah. So I can understand how that wouldn't work because that is really sad. Definitely changed the tone of the whole film, I think.
Oh yeah, agree. It kind of shifts it right at the end, like I know they were trying to be vague throughout the whole movie, like trying to put it, like ground it in realism, like you were talking about, like take away all the supernatural bits, but that kind of just adds that little bit of foreboding at the end that like, is he innocent, like leaving you with that question at the end. Although obviously he's innocent, so. He's
innocent. We're team Damien here. And I didn't actually know that that this film is like where the connotation with the name Damien came from. I thought it was like an old, because Damien probably meant something in a different language. But I did read, I should have written it down, but I did read that they changed the name. It was going to be a different name, and they changed it to Damien in this film.
Oh, now I want to know because it sounds like demon. That's what I just.
Yeah, me too. I always assumed it's like, Latin or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh my God, Mike trying to call me out. Emma defending Antichrist. Yeah, always. Hello. Welcome to my channel. That's my life. Always. That's how we get down around here. I did have one more random. Oh no, maybe I did it. No, this is just a very random note that I did want to put in here because I thought it would never happen and I thought it was very odd. The photographer in the movie, he does a little investigating because he starts taking those photos and he realizes that, which doesn't actually make any sense because what is the Antichrist, or is it God who's giving him little snippets to how people died depending on how he takes photos. Like, I don't understand how that's got to do with any of the situation. Now there's like some mystic bullshit that he's like, he's all of a sudden a psychic photographer. But anyway, sure. Well, I guess that's the Omen, right? Maybe that's the Omen. I watched this whole movie. I'm like, what is the Omen though? Like, which bit is the Omen? Is it all, because it's not the Omens. It was the
photographer all along.
Yeah, is it the Omens? You know, like the dog, when the nanny shows up, like all these different things. Are they all signs? But maybe the Omen is the photographer. Anyway, the photographer says to Robert that the police, when he goes through, I believe it's the priest's house and it has all this stuff everywhere. He goes, oh, so the cops just like let me come in here and just like go through the stuff because they figured, I'm pretty sure I wrote down there actually. Oh, they said that they figured that the priest was insane, so they didn't mind me coming into his house and going through his stuff. Could you imagine? That's like literally, I mean, I don't think it's a crime scene because it's obviously how he died was off site and he got staked, so, you know, but I still think it's weird going into someone's house who's, you know, deceased and going through their stuff. Thank you so much.
Right.
Sorry, I needed
especially somebody who's not a police officer.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't just go into dead people's houses and just go through their stuff. I don't know. That's just not how. I don't know how it works over in America, but it doesn't work. I mean, that's in London, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who knows how it works in London? Thank you so much for your super chat.
Thank you for your
blood sacrifice. Thank you,
Roman. Damn it! Now you're infecting me.
I'm gonna write it down on a post-it and put it in this room. I need to. Innocent to a fault. Between evil aura and Papa Satan, keeping tabs on him. I call revote. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes, I had to get a tea delivery. Sorry, so I didn't cough this whole time. Didn't want to go through that again. Okay. Was that all of yours, or did you have any more, Vicky?
No, that was all of mine. I think we had all yours too.
Yeah, I think so. So. Are you offended by this movie, Vicky?
I wasn't before, but you made a very strong case for Damien, so I guess now I'm offended that everybody thinks Damien is evil.
We're on the kid's side, yeah.
We're on the kid's side. Shocker. No one would have ever thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't find this film offensive at all. It's like, it does tread the line sometimes, I guess, if you're reaching like we do. It's got a little bit of Warren energy with the church creeping in, but oh
my god, imagine if they were in this movie, man.
Oh my god. Could you imagine? Oh, Beza, my friend Beza.
Thank you.
Maybe the real Omen was the friends we made along the way. I love it. He takes that 5%. I love it. Thanks, Beza. Oh, okay, that's good. Amazing. I love that. Thank you for your blood sacrifice. Yes, I don't think we're offended by this one. If you haven't voted on the Twitter poll, do you have the link handy, Vicky? Because I sure as hell don't. There is a Twitter poll if you'd like to vote for which one you find most offensive. He just had daddy issues. Leave him alone. I think he had more than daddy issues, to be honest.
Oh gosh.
I think he had his whole family abandoning him issues.
There we go.
Poor dude. Yes. So Vicky has put in the link if you just want to copy and paste that and go vote, and we'll read them out at the end. If you do want to respond to the Twitter, like reply, and I don't know how Twitter works at all. If you want to respond to the tweet, we'll read out some of the comments if you do want to say anything in that. Yep, gets that 5%. Case 39. Right. This is a first time watch for you, huh?
Yeah. It's just one of those, like, I've seen the poster, like, everywhere, and I think in my head I just convinced myself at one point that I'd seen it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen this. And then I started, I'm like, no.
I really like this film. When I said that I was watching, like, when I posted that I was watching it on Instagram, someone replied to me. Yeah. Sorry if you're here putting you on blast. Someone replied to me and was like, cringe. This movie made me cringe. And I was like, this movie is sick. Like, in a good way. Like, I think this movie's really cool. I don't know what's wrong with people. Oh, thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you for your blood sacrifice.
Thank you. I got better, but then something's going on and we're pretending it's not happening. So thank you so much, Mary. Thank
Powering
you.
through. It's all good.
Yeah, we're gonna power through. Okay.
All right. Case 39. I wrote down the wrong year. This is from 2009, not 2006. My bad. 6 is on the brain. You know how it is. So this movie follows Emily, who is working as a social worker. She takes on a particular case of Lily, who appears to be abused by her parents. Emily receives a call one night from Lily. She rushes over to find her parents are attempting to murder the kid. So Emily assumes custody of Lily while she looks for a foster family. However, of course, Emily soon finds that dark forces surround the seemingly innocent girl, and the more she tries to protect her, the more horrors she encounters. That summary keeps it a little bit vague, but like Emma said, the twist is kind of the evil kid thing.
Yeah. So we think that Lilith is she must call her Lily sometimes, maybe. Lilith is
I think she introduces her as Lily, and then it's
Mm.
like that's her full name is Lilith. At least,
This is
unless I misheard.
this
In
is
which case,
sending
my
me
bad.
now because yeah. I know a lot of Lilies that are babies right now.
Oh no.
And I just like it all clicked. Dean's sister's baby is called Lily. One of my best friends has twins and one's Lily. But Lilith, I'm sure that there's been other films that have used the name Lilith because it is named after, well, she's named after a demonic figure from Jewish folklore, which is translated to night monster. I'm now like, it's so crazy because Lily is actually trending as a baby name right now, and now I'm thinking about it. Naming your child a night monster, love the name, don't get me wrong, but naming your child night monster, I love it. That's so good. Yeah, it's just so funny. So I just thought that was important to bring up the name because they're both, when you compare the names, Damien and Lilith, like, I love that. I like that there's like two like demonic kids names that
Yeah. Yeah, I think that name always kind of has a demonic connotation. I know in the Bible also Lilith is sometimes like Adam's first wife or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, and was like made equal or whatever, not made of Adam like Eve is in the Bible. And also I think sometimes is responsible, like her kids are like become like an incubus and a succubus or
Succubus.
whatever. So she's
Yeah.
like responsible for like demons and things like that.
Yeah, I did read like the theory that that's what Lilith in this movie is a succubus, but as a
Yeah.
child, because like a succubus is obviously a very sexual thing. And in this it's more of her taking the energy, and that's why she moves from like parent to parent, because she's like sucking the energy out of them. And then they
Right.
like, you know, turn into like these nervous wrecks. Brutal moments in the film, let's just start with that so we can get those. We probably should have started with it last time. So Lilith in the oven is a pretty hardcore moment for me. I think that's like one of the most hardcore things.
Dark.
Things I don't like that absolutely like almost cross the line for me in films, or things that really get to me. Fire, people like being set on fire, like it always is. And then like, sorry, I shouldn't bring it up, but school shootings, not a fan of, you know, obviously not a fan, but like that always just pushes, you know, really gets to me. But the fire thing, and just that seeing a child like in the oven, if you've seen the movie, it's very intense. She's in the oven and they've like duct tape it so she can't get out. And
Seriously.
then when they Renee Zellweger, forget her name, Emily, runs in and like sets her free, cuts her out of the oven. And then when she has her on the floor, she's like putting all like towels and stuff on her, trying to cool her down. And just to know like that they try to make her burn to death is just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the most brutal. The boy that she influences, Diego. Thank you so much for hello Wilson. I hope you feel better. Thank you so much for your blood sacrifice.
Hi.
Everyone, wish my friend Wilson gets better. He's not well.
Well, soon will.
Yeah, so the boy Diego, he kills his family. It's a very bloody scene, and especially the aftermath, I feel like, of the scene. We see them
Yeah.
go through the crime scene. That's like pretty intense. And
With
also,
the
I guess,
knowledge that a kid did it. Yeah.
yeah, and the fact that he didn't mean to do it. It sounds bad. I feel like I'm defending all the
Yeah.
children. I'm like, but he didn't mean it. I know Damien didn't do anything, but Diego didn't mean to. But he was under the influence of Lilith, and just the fact when you see him afterwards and see how like destroyed, like, oh my god, it's so intense. The Doug, who is Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper's in this film as well. He plays like the love interest, but he's also like a psych. What are you laughing at?
I never clocked that his name was Doug. Sorry, it's just.
Oh, why is that too?
I don't know. It's just that like it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't fit his face or whatever.
Oh, okay. So I was like, what's funny in the comments? Yeah, Doug's death is very intense. He has a fear of. So the thing that with Lilith is she likes to figure out everyone's fears and then use that against them to kind of torture them. And yeah, she loves doing that. Good pastime for her. And Bradley Cooper is like in this bathroom and this insane like hornet scene happens, and it's like it's so brutal. They're coming out of his eyes, out of his mouth, out of his ears, and he just like cracks his head, and it's like it's almost like Suspiria-esque, like contorts and stuff. Like it's whoa, it's very intense. Yeah, I don't know how you felt about that.
Yeah.
Was
Not
that
a fan.
surprise?
I've never been stung by anything, so that scene, yeah. I'm going for the Lifetime Achievement Award, so if I see anything with a stinger, I'm
Good
I'm
to
a runner,
know.
I'm a track star.
Lilith manifests Emily's deceased mother to chase her, which is another just intense time for everyone. And then a really sad scene is the detective believes that he is being attacked by a dog, another big dog. It's a Doberman in this one, I believe, though. Getting attacked by a dog. Is it a Doberman? I believe so.
I can't remember now, but yeah.
And shoots himself. So like shoots himself in the face, and you kind of see it in the car. It's very scene. But I do believe, I haven't written this down, but I do believe the most intense scene. Wait, I want to hear what you think the most intense scene is, Vicky. I haven't mentioned it, so good luck. Is there something else that really got you and like had your jaw dropped during this film? Because there's like one scene that is just, it's not brutal. It's like more psychological. I don't know if you're gonna say
the most brutal one that you haven't mentioned. Now I can't think of one. Is it the one in your notes right here?
I haven't written it. I was going to mention it somewhere in this, but it's not really offensive, but it's just a very like intense scene is when so Lilith is acting like very innocent the whole time, and the first time we see her break is when she goes into the room with Doug, and Doug's having like a session, and then all of a sudden she just starts like undermining him and like using like these big words that obviously she was such a shy kid, and then she's like telling him that he's smug and all of this kind of stuff, and he's just dumbfounded, and it's like so horrific to have like a child like switch on you. And I think it's just one of those horrific moments because that's the first time she's shown who she really is, and no one would believe him. So yeah, I don't know if how that felt for you, but it's such like like fun scene because you're just like, what the fuck is coming out of this kid's mouth?
Yeah, I think it was more just like, oh my god, like she's such a good like actor, like to handle that intensity.
Yeah.
I feel like I was more just like starstruck. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's true.
This is really good.
Yeah, good on both parts. If you haven't seen the movie, it's worth it for that scene alone because it's like it's very intense.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
I think you should probably jump into notes because I've been talking so much. Sorry,
guys.
Okay. I need to shut up.
No, you're good.
Have you got? I'm trying to find.
No, I'm all the way at the bottom. Okay. You kind of covered everything. So I can talk about evil children in film all day.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Since we're talking about evil children in movies, in particular, The Omen and Case 39, just reaching. I'm gonna dig deep for those themes in there as we do. I was looking a lot at like the different types of like evil children movies that we have, like lists of them. And I like many of the, evil child, demonic child movies. I feel like the majority of them really like don't really involve exterior forces, maybe one or two, but like rather the themes present in the movie tend to lean more towards like the result of like parents individually or the shape of society as a whole, if we're talking about especially case 39 where we have like the whole, like foster care system,
Yeah.
social work sort of thing. So it's interesting that we kind of have an example of both a little bit, I guess, whichever side you want to fall on for the Omen, whether he's, the antichrist or not. um but like as you mentioned, we don't actually see Damien do anything in the film other than maybe smile kind of sinister, and that's about it. So it could be our perception that makes him evil, like everything is like stacked to make it seem like he is, and that kind of like, pervading idea that, he's not these parents' biological child. So, maybe he's has some evil attached to him. And even with Lilith in this movie, even though we see her family and where she's come from, it does kind of, it's like half a adoption
Yeah.
kind of story, because Emily does take her in and she thinks she's just this victimized
Mm.
child, and it turns out, she gets more than she bargained for. But the fear is not so much that children are inherently evil. Quite the opposite, actually. Like in movies, they tend to be the like, embodiment of like purity, innocence in movies, books, TV, whatever. That's why they tend to be the targets of these sort of things, because it's supposed to be like the most brutal that, innocence is corrupted in this way. But we as, if we're parents, guardians, society, just adults in general, are failing the next generation in ways that will become obvious when they grow up. And that's sort of the fear in these movies. Like, what
Mm.
are we doing that's going to scar these children and make them, I guess, if we're talking about case 39, make them murderers, maybe with Diego, or what's going to
Mm.
happen to them because of their surroundings, because of what we're doing.
Yeah.
um, and the 70s and the aughts especially were like reflect a time that was like plagued by uncertainty and anxiety for the future. Like we have Vietnam in the 70s, post 9/11 for Case 39, as it's an American movie. So the fears are placed on the next generation in the form of demonic children, like reflecting like these kids growing up witnessing this, like how is that going to affect them also, if we're going to talk about real world implications of horror.
Mm. That's an analysis.
There's
Ah,
my stretch. I'm
I don't
nice
think it's
and
a
warmed
stretch
up
at
now.
all. I don't think it's a stretch at all. It's a good reflection on, yeah, evil children and what they actually mean and the symbolism, I guess, because it's very different for what, yeah, what they're kind of symbolizing in this one, I guess. Because here they're like,
Yeah.
it's just pure evil, which I mean, my probably, yeah, I mean, you did touch on Emily's, what Emily, did we talk about Emily's occupation?
Yeah, I mentioned
Yeah,
it
you did.
briefly in the summary.
In the
She's a
intro?
social worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole reason that Emily gets tied in with Lilith is because she's the social worker for Lilith, which
Mhm.
and then Lilith wants to be, take me home with you, take me home with you, which is interesting in two different factors because number one, it we talk about this movie really shows the broken protection system with overworked staff and not enough tools to help the kids because obviously she has to break all the rules to go and like save the kid from the oven, which is
Right.
extremely interesting. But then it's also interesting in the way that that Emily is pressuring her to be a mother, and yeah, this is very interesting. She pressures her to be a mum, and she says, like, why don't you want a child? Like, why can't I live with you? And she's like, oh, it'll never work. I work all the time, and it's just not for my lifestyle. But it's like this whole pressure, and I mean, you can feel that as, you know, anyone saying to you, why aren't you going to have kids? Why aren't you having kids? Why aren't you pregnant? All that kind of bullshit. And then also that they actually justify it because they, in the end, they like Emily's whole darkness, the thing that she's scared of that Lilith uses against her is that her mum messed her up so that she doesn't want to actually have children and do the same, which is kind of with what you were talking about. And then it turns into this whole thing of like, why do we have to justify why she doesn't want kids? She just said that she's like obviously so involved in work and all that, and she's made her choice, but they have to make it that she's like afraid of something, and that's why, like, she's somehow broken, or you know what I mean? So I thought that was very interesting that her like womanhood is brought into question just because she doesn't want to take home this random demon that wants to live with her.
Yeah.
And then also
not very family values of her.
Yeah, exactly. But then also very interesting because when Lilith's biological parents are arrested and they go to court, this very interesting thing happens where in the courtroom it said that they'll need a psychiatric evaluation because they're not sure, you know, if they're in the right mind, given they were trying to send their child to hell. And then Emily gets really upset, and there's a scene with her walking out of the courtroom where she says, remember when people were just bad before everything had a diagnosis and justification, which I thought was such a bizarre line. Number one, I wrote down, she sounds like such a boomer because she does. Like, justify, like, and I understand to an extent that, of course, like, that's crazy. You know, I probably shouldn't even say that, but it is insane to hear someone wanting to do that to their kid, which probably proves the point why they need a psychiatric evaluation, you know what I mean? You can't just like slam the doors on people when you obviously, she works in the childcare, you know, industry. She should know that not everything is black and white, and a lot of people, how that, you know, it's a cycle. And she does talk about the cycle of abuse is from, you know, people experiencing that and not getting the right help. I don't know what she wanted them to do, be like sentenced to death, I guess. It just seems so odd for someone who's involved in such a gray industry to go so black and white all of a sudden. Yeah, it's just a very black and white way of looking at it. And then the second one is just really funny because she says that, remember when people were just bad before everything had a diagnosis and justification. So she's saying, you know, why people justify killing their kids. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Which ends up biting her because she ends up her and the detective work together to try and figure out how to kill Lilith. So there is a justification for killing Lilith. She's a demon. So you got your justification, you know.
And the fact that her love interest is also he's a psychologist, psychiatrist, that she's just immediately writes it all off.
I get what you mean. When someone does something awful, sure, like it can, you know, you want justice. But no, unfortunately, nothing is black and white, and there sometimes has to be a diagnosis and a justification. Sometimes we need to look into the case and find the evidence before we convict. We can't just, you know, absolute bizarreness. Just very strange. But another thing on the flip side, another reason I do like Emily is that she also, for someone who's so dumb and says something like that, she, the detective who she's very friendly with, when she finds out that Lilith is the real deal, like Lilith is definitely a demon, she goes and tries to find this detective, and the detective happens to be in church with his family, and she's like, she gets him outside, and it's like, oh my God, you know, like this child's a demon, blah, blah, blah. And the detective's like, whoa, like what are you talking about, woman? And she says, oh, what? So it's okay to believe in there, pointing at the church, but not out here, which I thought was a very interesting line because, you know, then we have this whole idea about how people believe what's literal in the Bible, you know, fire and brimstone, but then when it's in real life and there's a demon kid right in front of you, you just don't believe it. So it's like, I thought that was interesting because she's like, you can believe in there, but not out here. And I'm like, well, does that not count for, I don't know, just like that's such an opposite statement to what she was saying earlier with like the black and white thing. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Her
She's all
character's
over the
very
place.
interesting. Yeah, she is all over the place. I just don't think she
She's
was
all
written
over the
very
place.
well. But I like that because it's very interesting that people can believe in the Bible but not in real life. It just seems like unbelievable, Lilith's character. So interesting. Yes. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
We just had to throw the church stuff in there because
Yeah,
it's,
sorry.
you know,
Also,
can't just be an evil child.
I did.
Remember when children just used to be
Yeah.
evil and they weren't
Yeah.
demons?
When children just used to be demons. And also, there's a moment when Lilith's kind of like broken character because she's like the demon is out and she's not pretending for anyone, and she's at home and watching TV. And I just put this a little note. She's turns on the TV and some like it's so weird for the movie because the movie is so like such a different like feel and vibe, and then
Yeah.
she's like listening to like it's like R&B rap music, like she's listening to like a music video. She's meant to be like I don't know how old, like 12 or something, and she's
Yeah.
she's like listening to this thing and she's eating popcorn. But it's funny because she's like we know she's a demon, so are they like trying to point us towards a demon would only ever listen to rap? Like
Probably, yeah, like, oh, look at this bad kid listening to this bad
exactly.
music.
So she must be the devil because she's listening to R&B. I just thought that was like a really weird thing. It's not like it'd be funny if they put on a horror movie or something, but yeah, I don't know. Like the rap music killed me because I was like, it's just like a 12-year-old like sweet girl, and then they're like, but she's the devil, so she's listening to this, and it was just
Yeah.
not the vibe or the. I don't know. It's like they hadn't cut to any TV stuff before, so it seems like really out of place.
Yeah.
It was very random.
Agreed. It is weird.
I think the last thing I have on this one is I think this is the last one. The last thing I have on this one is what we were talking about before. We threw to a couple of times the alternative ending. So as Vicky spoke about with the Omen N was test screened to have Damien die, and in this one the opposite happened. So the end was reshot because the original received backlash in the test screening. In the original, Lilith survives the car crash. A man, so at the end of the movie, Renee, Emily, drives the car off the dock or whatever it is into the water, and is hoping to kill them both because the whole thing is she's like, I just can't feel fear anymore, and then Lilith can't get to me because if I'm not fearing anything, she can't use that against me. So she's ready to sacrifice herself. She ends up getting free and surviving, and that's the end. But in the reshot version, they go down and a man jumps in and comes out and saves Lilith, and Emily's just like choking there, like that he must go up and drop Lilith off, and then he reappears to save her. And then it ends with her being handcuffed, obviously going to jail, and Lilith going to the new family she was meant to go to. I don't know why people wouldn't have liked that ending. It's very interesting with the Omen because, as we said, they've switched. We went from, so Lilith kind of dies, we think. She kind of turns into a demon. You see her demon hands and stuff and face. I think you see her face. And, so she's kind of revealed for who she really is, and that's the difference between the Omen and this one's very supernatural. Case 39 is a very supernatural film. But yeah, we're not too I don't know which one I'd like better. I want to see both, to be honest. I want to see the other one.
Yeah, I think the supernatural aspect in Case 39 makes I guess I can understand why they chose that ending because it was a lot more clear in Case 39 that she is evil and she is doing these things, where like you said, you could absolutely read the Omen like Damien's not doing, like we don't see him do anything, so it would be the more brutal ending if
that's true.
he dies at the end because it's kind of up in the air as to like, is he really orchestrating this, where in this one it's very clear that she is. So I guess they just I can see why they chose it. It would have been interesting to see the other ending too. It would have been, I mean, pretty classic, like, dun dun dun, the evil was still out there, sort of
Yeah, I
thing.
would have liked it, and then it could have done a sequel because I actually really enjoy the movie. I think the movie's really cool. Thank you so much, Des, for your super
Thank
chat,
you,
for your
Des.
blood sacrifice. Great episode. I think the alt version would have been more effective. Team Lilith. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I would have liked a sequel, to be honest. I think this is like a fun horror. Like, I just love the death scene of Doug. It's just like so brutal, so brutal. Like Candyman level, like with the. I always just like think about like the hornets and the bees, like, you know, kind of thing.
Ugh.
So yeah,
Scary.
honestly, I don't know with this one, but yeah, I guess I can see with Omen how it makes more sense for him to live since he actually didn't do anything.
Right.
I would have been raging at the end. I would have, yeah, that would have been a much bigger rant here if Damien had died. But
goodness.
thank you so much for your blood sacrifice, Roman.
Deleted. Oh, there it is.
Needed
Thank
to
you.
spoof mashup. No more scary movies. I refuse. We're not doing that. I still need to see the Ring versus the Grudge movie. I still haven't seen that. Have you?
The one that's like Sadako versus Keiko. I think I did watch that, actually.
I've heard it's fun. I think I need to do that one first.
It definitely is fun.
Oh, Hell Baby. There you go. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, I have seen that. Hell Baby. That's the one. I like that movie. Is that Hell Baby? But that's like actually funny. I think it's on Netflix. Oh, no.
Is that
this
an
is
actual
not what I'm
spoof, or
thinking.
is it just like a just
This
really
is
bad
something
that
else.
it's funny?
No, there's a funny one on Netflix. Let me find the name. Oh, no, that is it. That is it. But
Little
I'm just
Evil?
saying it bad. Hell Baby.
Little
Oh, no,
the one on
Little
Netflix,
Evil.
I
You're
mean,
right.
Little
No,
Evil.
that is right.
Yeah.
Why am I seeing two different? Okay. Does it have two different names? You're right. No, Little Evil is it. Yeah. Little Evil's quite good. And that's on Netflix now, and that kid is very Damien. So, yeah, you can definitely check that one out. But I haven't seen the Hell Baby one, because it looks like it had some of the same people in it. Sorry. I know. This is such a bad idea to Google while I'm... I swear that's the same guy.
At what happened after the stream.
It's the same mum in both ones.
Oh?
It's Brooke from Popular. Ben knows what I'm talking about when I say that. It's little... Oh, no, it's not. Okay, sorry. I thought she was in the other one as well. You're right. Sorry, never mind. I'll just shut my mouth now. Brooke from Popular. You get what I'm talking about, Ben. Okay, cool. I didn't know about the other one. Hell Baby. Maybe I have seen it. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Let's just move on.
Hell Baby.
I just
You're okay.
morphed those two movies together in my brain. But Little Evil is a good one. I would highly recommend.
That one is a fun one. I agree.
Definitely
big Omen spoof.
Yes. Did this offend you, Vicky?
No. No. It was brutal, but no, it didn't offend me.
I would love to hear the perspective from someone who actually works with childcare in this, because that's the thing. It's like it toes a line between, the same thing as what we were saying before with Damien, is if it's offensive because she's like this traumatized and in turn like aggressive kid, but I mean she's also the exception to the rule. But it is, a metaphor in a way. It could be seen as a metaphor, So interesting. But again, this one's a little
totally be.
Yeah. But also, this is a different one because we do see her biological parents try and kill her as well. So it's just they're not trying to be. Everyone's trying to kill her, not just her foster parents.
Everyone.
Thank you so much, Maddie. You guys should do a defend you on Possession and The Brood. Okay, we'll write that down for sure because we love... Oh, you don't want to watch The Brood again? I believe I heard you say that before, hey? I'm right.
No, I haven't said that before.
Oh, no.
Did I?
Possession.
I don't remember.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay, The Brood. I'm writing it down. I've seen both, but I'm writing them down because we love recommendations, guys. We love them. Thank you so much.
Yes, we do.
Maddie. Okay.
Thank you, Maddie.
So yeah, not offended? Not offended? We're
not offended.
We're not offended.
Let me just refresh the poll here. So
let's check out the poll.
Okay. All right. So y'all voted 60.5% to
Oh, no.
the Omen being
Which
the
is
more offensive. And I want to believe that 60.5% is Team Damien. That's why everyone was offended by it. 'Cause
I just
Damien
added
is
it.
innocent.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, you can hear me take a screenshot. I just added mine to that one, to be honest.
Oh, did you?
I'm just gonna pull it up.
Wait, hold on. Refresh.
Sorry, I'm doing this live on. Sorry, guys, I'm doing this live. You can see it in a sec. There we go. There we go. There's the.
Ah, hey, look at that.
I was like, I had to vote so I could see it. There you go. 39 votes. Yeah, I definitely
there it goes.
go with that. I think that, yeah, we did Damien dirty. And that would actually be a really cool tattoo, the 666. Because it's like grouped together as well. Should we do that?
Oh yeah.
Me talking to my inner
You gotta
demons.
get it like
Should we do
on
that?
you gotta get it like on your scalp though somewhere.
Okay. Well, I already have an upside down cross tattooed on the back of my neck. I don't know if you knew that. Totally not lying.
No, I don't think I knew that.
I got my hair cut yesterday, and it was the first time I ever had someone mention it to me. They're like, but yeah. Anyway.
Honestly, I wouldn't even think that's that weird of a tattoo.
Well, it's a Christian symbol anyway. It's like the cross of St. Peter. But anyway, I had to school them a little bit, which yeah. And then sorry, this is totally off topic. But then later, they were talking to me about how old I was, and they didn't realize how old I was because they're like, "Oh, what are you doing later tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh, just gonna go to the movies." I'm like, and they're like, "Oh, not hitting the club," and I'm like, "Yeah, def not, like, not really my scene anymore." And they're like, "You can't be older than 21," and I was like, "I'm 31," but I was almost gonna say, "Oh, it's all of those." That baby blood sacrifice, I thought that might be too far.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, but if I do get the 666 on my hair, that could really work out well for the next, in the basement, giving me the wash down. See that?
Next time they go. That's amazing.
We love it.
I
We
love
it. Thank you all so much for Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us. That was a good time. And if you aren't following Vicky make sure you check out all of her information down below. Of course, next month will be on her channel, so make sure you're subscribed. And we usually just let everyone know on different social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, all that what's going on. So definitely check that out. We're gonna record a little bit of an after show now. Just really setting up the next one. Vicky, sell it, Vicky. Record like a little bit of an after show
thing, guys. You don't want to miss it.
The post show is us organizing next month, so we kind of do a brainstorm session, and that is for the patrons, so they can see that next week. But thank you all for being here. Hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you soon. Oh wait, Vicky, what do you got coming up? What do you got? Sorry.
Oh.
Do a little promo.
Tomorrow I'll have a spoiler-free review of Ghostbusters Afterlife. So if you're a fan of the Ghostbusters, check that out. Unless it's not out where you are yet. So
I'll watch it when it comes out. No, I love that.
Yeah.
I just put up a possible controversial video about remakes. So films that need a remake I put in the title, which is very odd for me. I don't normally get that aggressive, but I thought I'd just throw it out there. So go and read the comments because some of them are brutal. Love that. Okay. But have a fantastic day, everyone, or night, and we'll see you soon. Check out our latest videos, and thank you for being here. Bye, friends.
Bye.